there were key aspects about these emails that she had been using Yahoo instead of her governmental server to hide information from the Freedom of Information Act. This is something that can only be established by careful scrutiny. And this is really, that is something for the public to do and the political groups in the public and not us. Another famous example from maybe 2 months ago is the BNP, or the British National Party. This is a neo-Nazi party from the UK, a whites-only national socialist in its policies. Now, I don't say that to demonize this group, but just to describe it. But it is of intense interest to the UK population. And it had a secret membership list which was kept encrypted. We released this membership list of about 13,000 members, and it included their home addresses, their telephone numbers, their party descriptions on what they had done, whether they needed to be concealed because they were police officers. That resulted in approximately 2,000 articles in the British press. So that really changed the political landscape in Great Britain for at least a week or so. And what will happen, what will happen to the BNP, I don't know. But that group has constituents that are attracted to it for some good reasons. You can say the party itself is a problem, but actually there are reasons that people join parties like this that are not being addressed by the mainstream parties. Okay, so anyway, you may want to, the map that was just displayed there is in fact a density map of the British National Party. When this was released, many people produced secondary reports like the British press, but produced maps like this. And how's the video? No time. And there's a great video that you should see if you go to YouTube, which is a satire on the BNP. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. Okay. And some of you may know that in the past 2 months we've had a bit of a dispute with the BND, the German Foreign Secret Service. Now, this began when we released an IP, a document from T-Systems and an IP list describing a BND cover agency called BVOE and its IP address ranges. And simply Googling the addresses on this address range showed that they had left trails across the internet. As an example, modifying Wikipedia's entry on the BND to say that, in fact, they did not use the Goethe Institute as cover. So once again, who's to judge the privacy of this information? This came from T-Systems. This is a telecommunications company. Is it right for that information to be kept private or not? Actually, it's of substantial interest to many groups. And most importantly, it was of interest to whoever the whistleblower was in T-Systems. It was of interest to them and important to them, and that's enough for us. You can read in this month's, what's it called?
Datenschleuder.
This month's Datenschleuder has taken this information and gone into more depth about the BVOE and what its activities are and the cover that it used.
Thanks for that. It was really nice to see that this document was picked up by this community here as well. So that's the way we would like to see more information being processed.
Yeah. So subsequent to that, we've released a number of BND-related documents and reports. So one of those was on Kosovo, a classified BND document on the BND's involvement in Kosovo in 2005. You may remember Der Spiegel reported on this recently. There was a big scandal in the German press. The head of the BND, Ernst Uhler, wrote to us threatening to criminally prosecute us unless we removed that unless we remove some unspecified BND document. And we asked, well, Ernst, tell us more. What document are you talking about? There are many. And Ernst's response was, well, actually, it's this document about Kosovo, but while you're at it, remove everything. Otherwise, we'll criminally prosecute you, and we've already briefed BND lawyers to look into how to do that. Now, for the head of a secret intelligence service, I was gobsmacked by the level of incompetence in sending a journalistic organisation a threat like this, and you can even see that. Perhaps you should speak.
Yeah, well, it was kind of funny. We received this email on the 18th of December, and when looking at the email, we noticed that there was a different date in the email body, which was the 16th of December. So we had a look at the header that was, and we recognized it was forwarded, and then it turned out that the first mail address they had sent it to was the wikileaks@jabber.se address, which is a Jabber address we use, and it took them about 2 days to realize that even though
And we tried to reverse engineer what was the thinking in sending it to the Jabber address.
Yeah, so it was the only copy and pastable address on the contact page.
The other email address,
all others are
GIFs, so we don't get spam.
It's kind of hilarious. Somehow, I mean, so much for the competence and maybe the thoroughness with with how you look at things before you start to react or overreact or do something really stupid.
So my impression is that Ernst was a former police officer before he became head of BND. So he probably saw the WikiLeaks German address and assumed that we were a German operation, didn't understand the recent developments on internet media, and thought, there is a German operation that is defying me. I am a former policeman, let's use the criminal law. And straight away, without any thinking. And this is really not someone you want to be the head of a foreign intelligence service. You want someone with subtlety. I can't understand. I feel sorry for Germany, actually. Okay, so these are more notorious, especially for those examples are more notorious, especially for this audience, and why the Bank Julius Baer case was quite serious. There's a lot of things we do routinely that are very serious, but still get little attention. And as an example, we have released we have exposed many political assassinations, some of which have received media coverage in their own country. But as an example, we released only 3 months ago a very important report on Kenya by the Kenyan Human Rights Commission, which is a government human rights commission. It's an extremely credible organisation, documenting 500 extrajudicial assassinations that had occurred in the past 18 months. The Kenyan Human Rights Commission had submitted this to the United Nations Commission Against Torture, and was trying to get the International Criminal Court involved. Not released to the Kenyan public because politically it is too difficult for the Human Rights Commission in Kenya to be able to release that sort of information publicly, and also this report named names. There was some pickup in the Kenyan press, but the rest of the world, nothing. I mean, we had this on our front page for almost a week. The rest of the world, nothing. So getting leaked documents out is extremely important, but it is not the only thing. Sometimes there's no interest group to care to spread the information, and that is a case in Kenya. I'm not sure what to do about that. How do you get people to care about a serious matter that involves someone else? It's hard to say. I don't know what the answer is.
So basically, to make this short introduction on the leaks or leaked documents we have short, all documents that we have are real. It's hard fact that is documented. And all these documents reflect some facets of something that is happening at some point in time, somewhere in the world. And this is reality. So the few very disturbing pictures we just had here are all pictures that have been leaked to us from Tibet or protests in China by Tibetan people, from protests that we had seen in Kenya. So these documents are suppressed from the media. These documents pertain to violence that is caused by truth being told, by documents surfacing to the society. So it is important to understand that this is not a hypothetical construct, some project that is doing something very obscure, but we're actually dealing with information that reflects a very important facet of lives all over the world, and that has an influence on the quality, the freedom, and all other aspects of lives of people on this planet, living beings that we all need to have feelings for, and compassion for, and care for. And this is very important in the mission that we try to bring across. In that respect, we need to talk about some basic principle to understand why this is all of importance. Everyone here is what he knows. You can only judge your reality and take any sane decision on how you shape your future if you have all the hard facts to properly assess your situation, to make a sound judgment. In that respect, we, as a very simplified model, we have abstracted the process of how perception actually works onto 5 things. So you have reality, and then there's a certain observation of this reality, which you somehow in your brain process, and then you can take an action on it, and this action then again will influence your reality again. So this is kind of a circle that that every information is being processed in. If you now map this on certain players in this game, or you take these rules to their players, then you have the people in this world, which is everyone here and everybody else. And then you have the sources who observe certain things and who feel that there's a need to talk about the things that they observe. And these sources communicate what they find to journalists. And the journalists actually process this information and do their investigation, have a look what is relevant with this, who does it impact, who does it pertain to. And then the action comes in, and the action is the distribution of this information and also the mass cognition. So this is the part where what a journalist does hits everyone in this room here, and where everyone here who's blogging, for example, decides what actually happened that is so important for me to now reproduce what I just read or engage into my own analysis of what I just read. And this is where everyone here or everyone else doing some media work or processing this information is actually judging on what is going to become part of the future. Everyone here who is running a blog is taking a part of this decision. What will actually matter tomorrow? If we're just talking about, I don't know, WikiLeaks being down again or being overloaded or some new gimmick that is being shown or some new game that has come out or whatever, or if we judge or talk about some real information, something that affects people's lives some other place in the world. The same way you decide, do I just copy and paste or do I actually read a source document? So it is very important to understand this decision and to understand what the impact on reality of this single everyday decision is. And looking from this, we can say that as a portal or as this project, we can perceive these players in the game from a certain angle that we can take. So we have a slice that we can look at, which shows, first of all, what are sources or whistleblowers motivated by? So who is working in what corporation, what government, what institute, or whatever environment, who feels that there is something going on which is secret, which has not been talked about, but which needs to be taken to you, to the public? Then we can see what the media of this actually picks up. So the media, as a pre-selecting entity,